Good afternoon. I think we're going to get started. We gave everybody a few minutes to get here in the weather, so yay rain. My name is Catherine Hayden. I'm with the Employee Enrichment Committee that is doing the Lunch and Learns and the mentorship program, which hopefully you all know about and are attending with your mentors and mentees, but if not, it's fine. We can catch you up, and if you aren't in the program, that doesn't matter either, because these series were lined out to be effective for everyone, regardless of status in the mentorship program. With us today, we have Nicole Keenan, who is she has a BA in Education from Morehead State and her Master's in Counseling from Asbury. She is currently the Director of Student Success and Career Development in the UK College of Pharmacy, where she combines her education, positive attitude, encouraging spirit, and 17 years of career counseling to help students pave their own paths. So very glad to have you here today, and thank you for your time, Nicole.
Thank you so much. Well, what a pleasure to be here. First of all, I'm going to be a little bit more casual than probably you thought I would be, because I consider you a friend. We work together, we have staff, and I want to encourage you really from a framework that I would hope someone would encourage me. Many of you are probably at very different stages in your career, and I'm going to share a little bit about that from an angle not only from a career counselor, but my own personal experience through this process. Development. Sorry. Thank you. My dean asked me to speak today, and we speak quite on what we're doing in our own careers. And I will tell you, I work with pharmacists every day, and also our PhD students. And I'll say, so what do you do in your life? Half the time I'm like, I'm still figuring it out. And I'll share it with you because I'm not done yet. I say it just like that. I'm considering a PhD. I'm considering a lot of different things in my own career, and in my mid-40s, people might think that's crazy, but I do not. I live to learn and learn to live. And I hope today that you feel encouraged, and I hope today that you walk away with a better idea of your next step and what you want to do for your career. You can hold you're cutting out. Hold this thing right here. Okay. Are you okay with that? Things. I'm at a national conference this weekend, and I put this, and one of the things I love about it is, like Mary, I have a bag of tools that I use to help direct students, and I put that in there particularly because I think that you need tools in order to work on your own career development, and I think that it's important to meet up with people who may have those tools that you need for your own success. I have been 17 years, but also have a background in teaching, designing and teaching online courses, recruiting, counseling, career development, academic advising, mentoring, and leading and supervising teams. And that John has me, I have different careers and not wanted a lot of different jobs. Almost every position I've been in, someone has shoulder tapped me and said, "Hey, have you thought about this?" And usually I'm where I am in my position. The pharmacy found me actually in. I was working for Arts and Sciences, and I was designing curriculum for them and teaching online courses. And I thought, you know what? Since I've interviewed, I should probably interview. And here I am, 6 years later, at the College of Pharmacy. I'm going to share with you something that's really important about my career development. My first experience in my own career development, I had a significant crisis. I have never used formally. I picked as an 18-year-old knowing that I love to teach and I love. But what happened to me was as I was going through development, I realized I had fallen in love with something else. And I was stuck and afraid to tell anyone. One of the things that I did, I consulted a few of my friends, and at the time, in the late 90s, I was one of the first people to decide I wasn't going to teach. I did something else, people would say, Nicole, what are you going to do next? And I said, I don't know what I'm going to do next. That elementary teaching is not it. So I've kind of the bump looks very successful, but there were a lot of bumps in the road. We have obstacles to climb. I will also share with you that I'm a first-generation college student. My mom did not graduate from high school, nor did my brother, nor did my little sister. And so I had a lot of educational obstacles to climb when I was going through this. But I met some of the most significant people in my life to help shape me and mold me into the person I am today. And I am very, very grateful for their expertise and, honestly, their encouragement. They encouraged me to put my head up and to look a little bit further than what I was thinking as my own dream. So today, friends, I want to ask you, are you feeling stuck? You know, are you in a position right now, and I won't tell anyone, where you feel stuck? I have felt that, and I have also learned the tools that I need to get unstuck. And I help students every day, professional students every day, to also do that for themselves. I'm going to say it. Change can be a beautiful thing. I know that most of us can be very afraid of change, but I think that change really can inspire us and turn us into someone different. Like my education degree, I thought, well, what am I going to do with this? And a friend laughed and said, well, most people read on a 5th grade level. You got that covered. And I thought, yeah, that's a good thing. For me, as a first-generation college student, my degree was a ticket. And it was a ticket to do whatever I wanted to do. But I had to get training. And I had to also be brave. And I had to do a lot of things that made me feel uncomfortable, like speaking. I used to get so sick, like physically sick, if I had to speak for a group. And my roommate to this day, I called her just this weekend, and she was like, do you remember when you would get so sick? And I'm like, I would, wouldn't I? But now, you all, I love it. I love to speak to groups. And it's because I did the really brave thing to do it and do it again and again and again and again until I felt more comfortable with it. I want to ask you, do you have a map to guide you? I did not. I did not know what my next step was going to be after that experience that I had with my first degree. But I knew that it wasn't it, that wasn't it, and I needed to aspire for something else. What I want to share with you today is what I've learned through my background in career development. So I'll give you a little bit of a history. When I graduated, the college, the admissions office at Morehead State called me up and said, Nicole, we have a job for you. And I thought, oh, that is amazing. I never even applied. And so they wanted me to be an admissions counselor, and they shared with me that if I did that, they would pay for me to get my master's degree. And I was like, well, that's definitely the next thing I want to do is get a master's degree. And I knew that counseling really was an aspect that I wanted. You all, I was an RA for 4 years, okay? I do the math. I was a 5-year student. I was an RA for 4 years, and what I learned through that process is higher education was actually my new love. And being an RA was one of the most significant experiences of my college life. I was helping people before I even knew how to help myself. And so I went on and I applied for a master's degree in counseling. And it was in this that I had the most significant class of my lifetime, and it was career development. It was at Asbury Seminary where I got my master's degree. And I was learning about these stages of career development. And you all, I was 23 years old, and I was thinking, no one has ever taught me this. I didn't know that there were stages that existed. And so I'm just going to share with you a little bit about these stages so that you can understand this. And I have some notes here because I am a storyteller, but I also want to stay very relevant to what we're talking about. But the 5 stages of career development, the first one is growth. And this is an early stage where we develop self-concept, we develop our attitudes, our needs. What I will tell you all is no matter what stage you're in, you can go through this over and over. It's cyclic. It can be cyclic. There's an exploration stage. In this stage, individuals try on a few different roles and eventually focus on a specific career direction. The third stage is the establishment stage. One might think that I'm in establishment stage because I'm in my 40s, but I'm telling you, I'm still in exploration. This stage is where a career can be developed to the point of being stable, individuals settle into their roles, and they advance as needed. Then there's the maintenance phase. The maintenance stage is a point where an employee is securely established in their role and their needs, and they decide whether to hold on to it or keep the position. I do not like this terminology, but the last stage is called decline. I think that's horrible. It's the final stage, and this is the point where employees focus on the things outside of the job, like retirement and leisure activities. Again, I just want to remind you that although the career development theory has the stages like this, you can be in these stages throughout your lifetime. What I want to introduce to you, though, is a theory, a model that you can use. How many of you all, when you were coming today, just by raising your hands if you don't mind, hope that you would get a takeaway from my session today? Like, how do I do this, Nicole? Absolutely. I'm going to walk you through it. Now, I learned how to be a career counselor backwards. And I love to say that because honestly, I was having to figure this out, and it was in a term, I don't know if any of you remember, but a career counselor for me was someone who would print out from a printer jobs, and they would put them on a bulletin board. Okay, does anyone remember those people? There was a huge bulletin board at your college or wherever you went to school, and that's what they would do. And you all, I already had the elementary ed degree. I knew I did not want to do bulletin boards anymore. And I did not want a job like that. It wasn't until I got into my master's program that I learned what career development really was. And this is the stages that I went through in this process, and stages that I will share with you that you'll be able to go through. Let me just grab my notes real quick, because on some of my slides, I didn't put all of the information on there. And if you have questions at any point, please feel free to talk to me. I want to introduce you the stage that I love, and this is a stage that I find myself in all the time, is assessment. There are a variety of ways that you can look at it. I actually went through a program, and we looked at a table with 4 legs. It's the only little table I could find, but I love that little kitty. A table with 4 legs. If you have significantly assessed what your personality is, your interests, your values, and your skills, just like a table, you can put your career decision on it, and it's going to be stable, okay? When I made my decision to be an elementary school teacher, I had the personality down, for sure. My interest, I really loved the students, and I had the skills. It was the value piece that flipped my table upside down. I wanted a different group. I wanted to also have the freedom to teach whatever I wanted to teach. And what I found out with the bureaucracy of elementary education, that was not possible. And you weren't going to have that gig. And so I felt stuck. That's kind of when my crisis landed for me. And I will tell you all, I had multiple job offers. I turned them all down because I just had to listen to that still small voice that said, Nicole, there's something else out there for you. The personality assessments were really significant for me. You may have heard of them. Myers-Briggs is a great assessment that you can take. That was one that was very significant in my development, and I have training in that and certification to do that assessment now. Another one, if you have not done this, I encourage each and every one of you to pick up the StrengthsFinder book. This is a book you can get on Amazon for probably about $12. Make sure you buy it new. There's an access code in this book that will give you your top 5 strengths out of 34. This was a game changer for me. This is when, for me, rubber met the road. And I got really, really confident and serious about the gifts that I had to offer. One of my gifts is positivity. I had no idea until this book pointed it out, but it's been a significant piece of why I continue to grow and develop in my own career. There are interest assessments like the Strong Interest Inventory, Holland's Code. There's so many different ones that you can do in these areas. There is the Skills Scan assessment that you can do for values. Many of these values and skills, you actually can do for free. And what I'm going to share with you is on our UK career development site, there are so many tools that are free for staff to access. that you can go through and you do not have to pay for it. You can have your PJs on and take the assessment and get the information that you're gonna want here if you're in that assessment phase. How many of you have taken, Mary, can I need the block again?
Oh, they're just asking me to say those within my.
Stay closer, sorry, I will stay right here. One of the things that I'll say is that these assessments, you can take multiple times. I have taken the StrengthsFinder multiple times, and there have been some things, maybe one or two that fall off and a couple that have fallen up. One is communication. That was one that I would say was not significantly developed for me in my 20s, but now is one of my top strengths. I'm going to go on to the next phase, and this is exploration. And I love this quote here. Where do you look when you don't know where you're going? I have this conversation every single day with my clients and my students. Where do we go next? And so when that feels very difficult for a client or a student, I will just share with them, well, let's just start somewhere. Okay? We don't have to know where the end is, but let's just look for where the next 2 years will go for you. And I think that that's a really important aspect to bring into this picture. Because for me, if you would have shared with me 20 years ago, Nicole, you're going to be the director of student success and career development, I don't even know what I would have done with that phrase. You all, my position was the first in the nation to be created. The College of Pharmacy created that position, and then Provost Tracy started to develop these positions of student success. I didn't even know it existed, and now it's a lifetime of careers for student development professionals. So exploration. One of the things that I will share with you is that each step that I went in my map, I would get there and say, oh, I really like that. What other tool do I need? And I would start to do an inventory of what's the next tool that I need to do the next thing that I want to do. Preparation. You have got to create a plan. You cannot be successful in your career if you yourself as the individual, if you don't develop it. And I want to tell you, as a supervisor, I would love to think that I have the ability to look at the people that I supervise and share with them that they should do this or do this next. But I'm telling you, no one can do it better than you can yourself. And so you have to be an advocate for yourself of where you need to go and what that plan looks like. What I have for you all today, and I will see if my sweet Julianne could pass these out, is a career action plan. And this is actually, this comes right off of the career development website. Miss Diane Kohler, who is a career counselor and works here at the university for us, has developed this plan. And this is an amazing plan that we can all use, that I use continually in my development. This walks you through, and this is exactly what I'd walk through with a client. It tells you what your short-term time frame is of things you want to develop or your goals, all the way to a midterm time frame, and a long-term time frame. I had already shared with you that I'm flirting with the idea of getting my doctorate in leadership, okay? But I didn't share with you what I'm doing right now. So each and every semester, I think of the next thing that I need to do for myself. A year ago was the Global Career Development Certification that I did with Michelle. We did that training. It was a year-long training. Last year, my next thing was I submitted an application, and it was really kind of outside my box, but I submitted an application for the Women's Executive Leadership program here and was accepted into that program, and I was a welder for a semester. This last year, January, I thought, what am I going to do next? And writing has been an area that I really need to be working on and kind of cleaning up my act a little bit in that. I've been asked to do some national publications, and I felt very insecure about that ask. And so I am now in an online writing course that I'm taking because I'm still not yet, where all of us are not yet. And so that writing class is just, I mean, it's changing the way I do my PowerPoints, it's changing the way I do my presentations, it's changing the way I speak to individuals. It's making me think about my audience, and that's something that truly has been a gift in what I do as a career development professional. So I wanted to share with you, I hope today that you have this tool and you feel like I can start to dream a little and think about what's my next thing that I want to do. And so that is our preparation phase. Then there's the implementation. And this is the other thing that I like about this plan is you can actually put dates on it. And I love this quote, do something good today. I am a recovering perfectionist. Recovering, I say, because I still struggle day to day with that. I wait until the product is absolutely polished before I do it. And my mantra for this year is just get it done, Nicole. Just do it and get it done. And I will tell you, it is changing everything. I was able to put this presentation together in like 30 minutes because it's just, I'm at a place where I'm not worrying so much about, did I say all the right things? I'm worrying more about my audience and who's going to be there and what you all will get as a takeaway. So you have to implement your goals. Review. This is a very important piece too when you look at this model. I love the PE review, and I know that probably makes some of you sick, that whole process. I understand, I'm quite a nerd about it, but I have to be because I'm a career development professional and I want to do this so well that I can help other people do this well. With my PE, I look at it for the parts of what did I accomplish, and I look at it for the parts of what did I not accomplish and what do I need to work on. I don't look at that as a negative. I go into it, there's never a surprise. I know how well I'm doing and I know how well I'm not doing, okay? But I look at that to even have the conversation with my supervisor to say, of all the things that I've done this year, what do you want to see me continue to do this year? Of all the things I've done this year, what priorities should I shift, right? That helps me to think a little bit about that review and what I should take off of my plate. What should I hand or delegate to my colleagues? And maybe some dreams that need to just be put in a box or done on the side, okay? Because there's some side gigs that we can have too with what our interests are. So I do have these resources here and I want you to have this. If you all have not gone to our career development here at UK, I will first tell you, I met Diane 15 years ago and we were doing the Strengths Finder together. And Diane said, little lady, I want you here at UK. And I was like, oh, that is so sweet. I just love Diane. She's amazing. And she tried and she tried and she tried. And she would send me every job description that was career development related until I finally took the plunge, applied, and got the position at the UK Career Center. Diane is one of those people that has created things that many of us will look at life and we want the fast, quick fix, and that's just not the way career development works. Diane knows the foundation and has really paved a foundation for all of us. Now, I will tell you, sadly, Diane is retiring, but we are so excited for her. She is not quitting doing what she does. She does a lot of amazing things here in Kentucky. For our Kentucky Career Development Association, for the Central Kentucky Jobs that I'm going to talk to you about. But what I do want you to know is she's in the hiring process. I talked to her before this presentation and said, Diane, what do you want me to share with my friends? And she just said, share with them that we're going through the process. We will have someone hired by April and that to utilize the free resources on the website, okay, because they're for all of us. And so they will have that full-time position. And when we do get that full-time position, you all, we can have free appointments, free career counseling with that person. The going rate for a career counselor right now is $100 to $150 an hour. I know, I got a sweet gig when I retire later, but I'm just saying that, I mean, it is worth your time to make that appointment, whether it's to do a quick CV review or to talk to whoever's in that position about your next steps. I have done it. Diane's on she's on my cell phone and I call her all the time. I'm thankful for that friendship. But I do want to encourage you to utilize those resources, and they are free to us. Training and development. You all, this is an area that I have tried to do everything I possibly can. When I came here in 2009 at the UK Career Center, I got into everything. I've been through the supervision training. I've been through the leadership trainings. I did the Leadership Academy. I've been through the Humanity Academy. I just went through WELD. You all, I am just like every semester, sign me up. And this is why. If I can do something outside the box, right, that stretches me, I am a better counselor for my students when I say, Julianne, you're really going to have to stretch yourself. I really need for you to do X this semester. And let me tell you what I'm doing to stretch myself. Every time I do that, I win the rapport and credibility of my students because I'm doing it too. And I tell them all the time, just as I've told you, friends, I am not yet. I'm continuing to pursue my career. I'm continuing to see what the next thing will be. And these are places that you can go to, and again, for free to get these trainings. The technology and software training is amazing. If you don't know Excel, we have experts on our campus that will teach you how to do that for free. And you might be saying, Nicole, how do I do that? I have so much work to do. Well, I would have a conversation with your boss to say, this is something that I think could really, and be honest, if it's an area that you think could really improve your position and the job that you're doing, I can promise you that there's not a supervisor alive that would not want you to have better performance or know how to do something faster, okay? And so these trainings, I mean, you can have that conversation with those supervisors and just encourage them or share with them how you think it will enhance your position right now, okay? Now, I'm going to pick a little bit on Julianne because Julianne and I work together. And Julianne probably takes 2 to 3 of these classes a semester. And every time she asks me for permission, I don't even hardly let her finish her sentence. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Because I know 2 things about Julianne. First of all, she is amazing at everything that she does. Second, she is a learner. And so on her Strengths Finder, she is a learner, and I know as her supervisor, Julianne needs to be learning every semester. And if she's learning, she is going to continue to love what she's doing, no matter if it's the same day in kind of stuff we do all the time, because our calendar is pretty cyclic. And so she takes a lot of these classes. We've got the professional development and training, and you all, these are so good. Like one of them is like how to deal with difficult people. Like we all need that, right? Like one of the trainings is on how to solve problems. There's communications trainings. There's trainings on how to develop yourself, how to develop a team. There's so many. I mean, it is endless, the different opportunities that we have there. The supervision and training. That was foundational for me because I became a supervisor before I thought I knew how to be a supervisor. My director had left. My dean of students came to me and said, okay, Nicole, you can either be the director or you train the new director. That was my first year out of grad school. And I thought about that. You can either be the director or train the director. I did not think that I was qualified to be a director of a career center, but I took on the task. And actually I hired my counselor that worked under me, had a PhD. And it was hilarious. But I will tell you, that was foundational for me, okay? But I also knew that there was a lot more that I needed to know about being a good supervisor. And so those classes were outstanding for me here at the university. I cherish those classes and the people that I've met in those classes as well. So I want to encourage you all to do that. The Central Kentucky Job Club, I mentioned this, and I do have resources for this. I won't pass it out just yet. And for those of you who are listening, I will give you those links. So you'll have access to the link, the paper that I gave out on the Career Action Plan, as well as the Central Kentucky Job Club. This is really important because this is a great place for you to be able to network with other people, and it's not necessarily people at the university. This is a job club that you don't have to join, you don't have to pay for, it is free, and it meets once a month, and they have amazing topics, and guess what? Diane Kohler is a part of this. So she helps bring in these amazing speakers with Caroline Francis. And if you all don't know Caroline Francis, she is my colleague and friend that does career counseling for all of the alumni at the University of Kentucky. And so Caroline and Diane have partnered together to put on this job club. And they've got great topics. The topic that they had that's coming up is Lifelong Learning 2020. Some other topics that they've had are job offers negotiable, how much are you leaving on the table? Just some really great topics where you can feel like encouraged and like I can ask for more money, and they can teach you how to do those things with based on the different topics that they have. And so I'll give you that information before you leave today. I will share with you business attire is encouraged. They do have that on their website. And that's just because you never know who your next boss is going to be, and they might be there. And so you want to have a good impression. All right. Are you ready to take the plunge? So one of the things that I also want to share with you is that I think it's important to take risks. This last year, 2 years ago, I was offered a position, and I was so excited because it was my dream job. They had contacted me from another college and said, Nicole, we have a position for you. We want you to come. And I thought, okay, yes, this is it. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to get back into career development. And I went to my dean, and I shared with him that I had gotten this new opportunity. And to my surprise, he said, I don't want you to leave. So what can we do for you here so that you'll stay? And you all, I had an opportunity for the first time in my life to create the position that I'm in and to hire an amazing colleague to work with me, and to also have my friend and colleague promoted in her position. And I tell you that not because I'm like, oh, look at all these great things. Let's go back to my career crisis when I had a degree I've never used. I share with you because I live the advice that I give. I know how to negotiate a salary because I have. I know how to create a position because I have. And what I tell my students is they help me be a better person. Because if I can learn how to do it for myself, I can teach them how to do it. And I do it every day. These pharmacists across the nation calls me and says, Nicole, I'm up for promotion. What do I do? And we just talk it through, and I encourage them. It's for all of us. And the thing that I will share with you, just as I share with my little girl, who is 9, is that you can do whatever you want to do, but you must work hard, and you need to have a plan, and you have to have strategy to do it. And so I want you to be encouraged that you can begin to develop that plan, to think about what your next thing is. You don't have to stay stuck if you're in a position and you feel stuck. That's actually a gift, because it's going to give you time to think about what your next thing should be. And I'll also share with you to build your network. I have got some amazing people on this campus, and anytime I feel stuck, anytime I run into a wall, anytime I feel discouraged, I can call them up and they will help me through it. One of my best friends and colleagues is over here, just right across the street at the Lewis Honors College. She has developed the personal development and career development center that they have there for the honor students. And she's one of my first friends that I call through that. She's also a career counselor. And so I think that that's the other piece that I would encourage you to do. I would share with you not to let people discourage you because of your age or how long you've been in a position. I tell my students quite frequently my age, and that I'm looking for my next thing, and not because I'm not happy. You all, I absolutely love what I do right now. But I'm starting this new writing thing, and I'm kind of liking it. I'm doing a lot of publications right now, and I'm kind of liking it. And I'm doing a lot more presentations, and I'm going to tell you, I'm kind of liking it. And so that's something that is just inspiring me to just dream another dream. And if I do get the call to take on another position, I might consider it. I might not. It just really depends on where I am in my life. My value system has changed quite a bit. I've got 2 small children, so I've got to think about that, okay? But I also am living a life for them as an example. They can be what they want to be, no matter what other people say. And so I'm going to just open this up for questions for you all. What questions do you have for me? John?
What advice would you have for a client, student, staff member who has experienced severe rejection? I've applied for a job, I didn't get it. I'm interested in pursuing a specific path, but I'm not getting a lot of support.
Yeah, John, that's a great question. So what advice would I give to someone who's had some career rejection? Absolutely. That's going to happen to everyone, all of us, okay? There is more rejection than you get a yes, okay? You get about 100 no's before you get one I would look at that like, you know, what can you learn from those people? I'm some of the people that have the positions that I thought I was going to have, I'm friends with, and I've learned from them, or I've learned, you know what, oh, that position was not my best. But I would say to ask those questions, John, and you can ask that. The worst thing they can say is no. I'm sorry, I can't tell you, this is private or whatnot. Many supervisors will share with you some things that you could work on. And I would still send the thank you note. Thank them for the information they gave you. Thank them for helping you in your own development. It's a great question. You had a question for me?
Yeah, I was interested in actually you were going through your online writing course.
Yeah, I will tell you
It
that.
seemed like it was
Yeah, it is actually, it is a private organization, and I'll share with you the link after we're over so you can learn about that. It's fascinating. It's really helped me. It's another direction. It's more of an interest of mine, but it's changing the way I do a lot of things, especially this presentation, y'all. Before, 2 months ago, literally, I would have had like all these bullet points of all of this information. And I'm a storyteller. And so I need to be more of a storyteller and have pictures to prompt me than just a bunch of content. And so it's already changing how I do those presentations. Welcome. Other questions? Yes.
So I've worked in UK for probably about 20 years,
Mhm.
and for most of my professional
Yeah.
career, and you know, I run across people who I've worked with over time, and they say, "Oh, where are you now?" And so I've switched different. You know, I've probably had 6 or 7 jobs at UK, and what do you feel about diversity in, you know, the area you work in, as far as here versus somewhere else in
Yeah.
Lexington or something like that?
I think
I'm
that's a
doing
great
pretty
question.
but, you know, just
Yeah,
looking forward, it
absolutely.
kind of concerns me.
That is a great question. And I would say, I'm gonna repeat the question and make sure I say it right. If you've worked in a position and you've worked at the same institution for 20 years, what do you think about diversifying yourself or going outside of the institution? Is that something you have to do to be relevant? Is that kind of good? I would say, honestly, as your friend, I would say you do what works well for you. I will tell you, we have the best benefits the state can offer. And so if that's working for you and your family, don't worry about what other people think that you need to be doing in your career. I encourage students every day to put their blinders on and think about what you need and what is good for your family. I think that there are definitely some things that you probably could do, like conferences you could go to, and you can network in that way. But I would tell you, don't ever be discouraged because you're planning to stay right here and you have that loyalty. I feel very loyal to UK. In fact, these other positions I've been talking about was all under the umbrella of the University of Kentucky. I really don't have any ambition to leave outside of Kentucky right now. Again, 2 small children. I love that tuition reimbursement. I am really thinking a lot about their development at this stage in my life. And so I would just tell you to be encouraged. If you really love where you are, don't let other people make you think you need to be somewhere else. Everyone has an opinion.
And I'm not worried about so much other people. I just kind of think about,
Yeah.
you know, my own career and, you know, am I remaining relevant?
Yeah.
Well, or not my welcome.
No, I think those conferences are great. I think networking with other people, if you can get into a state association, you're meeting with other colleagues. That's one of the things that I do with the Kentucky Career Development Association. I can meet with my colleagues and say, what are you doing? And that helps me stay really relevant when I kind of feel stuck in just the sea blue. There's a lot of other colors out there. And so that helps me to stay relevant for here. That's a great question. Good questions. How many of you think you'll use that plan that I gave to you? Yeah. I hope that you all can use that and use it however you want, but put classes that you want to take. I really encourage you to go to the HR website. There's a lot more you can do, you all. I just didn't want to get into the nuts and bolts of all the things that might cost you. I am paying for my writing class right now. But there are things that are out there for free for all of us. But there are also things that you can do through the university, taking classes, getting a certificate, getting, and you know, if you want to get a degree, again, you can. That's absolutely free for us. There's a lot of great resources out there for you where you can even get your books paid for. And so that I want to encourage you with that. If you're thinking, gosh, Nicole, this is not for me because of the money. Yes.
What do you think is the best way to find like a mentor that's in a career that you're interested in, you're trying to pursue?
Yeah.
And, like, what do you think is the best way to approach that?
Yeah, I am an adamant person on buying people coffee. I buy a lot of people coffee.
Yeah.
People seem to like coffee. I will literally, like, one of the assistant provosts just sent her a message and said, can I buy you coffee and chat with you? And through that conversation have developed a stronger relationship and can meet with her monthly now. To break the ice, to say, could I buy you coffee? And could I talk to you a little bit about how you got to where you are? It may open the door for you to have a mentor, or it may open a door for you to be connected to your mentor. And so every time I leave a conversation like that, I will say, who would be another person that would be great for me to meet with? So I always leave with another name, another email address, and another phone number. And so it may not be that person you bought coffee for, but that next person. But I do encourage you to do that. If there's someone that you just think, wow, you're a rock star, I love what you do meet with them. I have found that people really like to talk about themselves. And so it's okay to just say, how did you get to where you are? Take your CV, based on my CV and resume, what would you say would be a good thing for me to do next? And they will give you that advice. I always tell my pharmacy students that I am not a pharmacist from training. And so I'd say, I'm going to give you the baseline career development, big picture perspective. But now let's think about the professional who has the position you want. And then we write down that person's name and I say, you've got to meet with that person in the next few weeks. You got to talk to the people that are doing what you want to do. It really makes a difference. So I would start out that way. Okay. And I know that the door will open for you in doing that, because people just, naturally, if someone, it's a compliment when someone wants to do what you want to do. And I have found that most professionals, even when they're so busy, especially in healthcare, will still have time for coffee or lunch. You're welcome. Well, I appreciate you all so very much. I hope that today you've got some takeaways. I do have the Central Kentucky Job Club flyer that has the different sessions that are coming up. You do not have to be a member. It is free. I wanted to give you all resources. All of these resources I have used. It's for everyone. This plan and the way that I've done this, it is career development theories that have been tried and true for years and years and years. I could talk about this all day long. I do love my position. I love what I do. I love the staff that I get to work with. I love being at this university. And that's important for me, because if I'm trying to help other people love their job, I need to love mine too. And so that's why I try to stay as relevant as I possibly can in the position that I'm in, and change it up when it needs to be changed up. So I hope you all feel encouraged. And if you need anything, I'm certainly here and I can answer questions. Mary, do you have a question for me?
Compliments from the chat, but also they're just wondering how these are going to be shared. Is it going to be an email or posted online, like the links and the...
I can do whatever you want me to do, Mary. What is best for this? To post it?
Through emails and everybody kind of through Qualtrics. It's not that Mary could also send it out with everybody's email address. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Well, friends, thank you. Stay dry, be encouraged, and definitely find that mentor, that cheerleader that you need to help. And so you can talk about these new dreams that you're having. Because I tell you what, when I start to tell my cheerleaders, they're like, you should do it. And then I end up doing something really crazy and I do it. And I've never regretted it. Never, not once. So have a great day.